Kia ora koutou, ko Antonia Burbidge. I'm the head of climate and nature at the Sustainable Business Council. When I was at university, I read geography, which is all about the world and people and place and how those things come together. And every time you bumped up against a big challenge, water, biodiversity, at the bottom of each of those challenges was a common theme, and that common theme was climate. And so I think for me, that was the most interesting thing, was kind of how do you deal with what's going to be the biggest challenge over the next 50 to 100 years? And then I thought about personally, what did I want to do with kind of my working career, and that was to have the biggest impact I could on the biggest challenge I could find. And for me, that was climate change. My role is the head of climate and nature, and that means a few different things. I think one of my first priorities in my role is to connect with our members and to kind of understand what matters to them in those two topic areas. And then a second part of my role is advocacy, and that means talking to government ministers and to ministries and to members, and trying to understand how SBC can most effectively advocate on behalf of its members with a kind of a solutions focus in mind. So my job is to connect between our members and to find common positions amongst the members, and to take that to government with a solutions focus in mind. Another part of my role is fostering collaboration between members, and so we do that through things like programs and events, the recent Climate Change Business Conference being a good example of that, but also things like the Climate Related Disclosures Workshop that we run. So the objective of those is to try and help members find points where they can help each other, or where they can showcase what they're doing. So sharing information and advancing action on climate change through the work that business does together. One of the things that we're doing at the moment is using the pre-election briefing that members helped create to advance our advocacy work around the general election. And that means using it to speak to ministers and opposition parties and others in order to help shape the climate outcomes that we may or may not get from this general election. And we'll continue to use it in the post-election period in the first 100 days. So yeah, that's a big focus for Mike and I. Two big things on the agenda for us. COP is coming up in November, which is the big United Nations conference on climate change, and SBC will be going alongside lots of members, and we're really pleased that MBAT opened up tickets for members. So if you haven't already, apply for a ticket via MBAT. And we'll be going to try and learn and understand what's coming up kind of from a global perspective about climate change, and bringing that knowledge back to members so that we can be prepared for kind of what's evolving in that space. The second big piece coming up for us is around nature. So just understanding for members what might be coming down the pipeline in terms of the nature piece, and making sure that we are responding to member needs there.